folks. We are in Indianapolis. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
And we're here with Archeryshack. And we're doing, as promised, some podcasts from Indianapolis. We're back from the show today. It was day one, Buyer's Day. We got to see a lot of stuff. We covered about half the show. A lot of stuff to see.
Yep.
Feel like we did a lot of walking and didn't do a lot of... we didn't make as much progress, but we covered a whole side of it, so not too bad.
Well, and they had the room that it ain't really a room, but the side of the convention center we covered. It was a good mixture between like Sights Rest. Black Eagle was on that side, I believe.
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of camo clothing companies and tree stand companies.
Yeah.
And blinds. So
I guess the two big announcements that I heard most people talking about, particularly online, was John Dudley officially said he's with PSE, and he did some stuff there with all the people.
Mm-hmm.
We got to go by the booth, talk to him, look at the bows. They pretty much took the current model bows for the most part. What we seen was bows with like an army green, I guess you'd call it, riser.
Yeah.
And then they, of course, had the signature John Dudley flow green strings.
And I think knock on the limb.
Yeah, knock on brandage.
And from what I understand, it won't be maybe this year. I don't know, but the talk is that he's possibly going to have some input on a new bow.
Yeah, I think the way I took it was, since it was later in the year when all this switch happened, they just sort of kind of rebranded some stuff to knock on with some custom colors for him. But in the future, he may have like his own bow or two or three or whatever. So yeah. I think that's pretty cool. And also Pigman is now with PSC. So I know a lot of people don't pay attention. Your average Joe don't pay attention to any of this, but the folks that do, the internet people, I think it'll help PSC's sales. I'm sure they're going to be behind on the knock-on bows.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
And another thing was too, I can't remember if they was in Louisville last year or not. I don't remember. But Monster Energy Drink set up a booth this year.
Yeah, Pigman, I guess, is sponsored by Monster now. Got them here. They had this big trailer thing inside set up with like the video games with like the fake gun, shoot at the screen thing, and the Monster Energy girls, and they're giving a Monster Energy drink. And I think bigger corporations like that in archery is a definite good thing.
Oh, yeah. With Monster, you cover... I know they cover a lot of, and I don't hate to say it, but, they NASCAR, motocross,
mm-hmm.
anything, racing sports, drifting and stuff like that. So, a lot of those guys in those sports also bow hunt, they fish. So I can see Monster branching out, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Diversify
I think stuff like that as a whole is what it would take to get archery and archery tournaments big again, to where it's not all these manufacturers paying out money. Because I think one of the problems of bow companies going up on their prices is the way it's kind of boiled down in the last 15 years, the manufacturers are paying out the biggest of the money for these tournaments, like ASA in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Used to, I remember when Pennzoil and there was like Miller Lite and all this stuff that was writing the big checks. But when a bow company has to be the one to write out most of the money, of course the bow price has to go up. So if we could get Monster and all these bigger companies back into it, things could definitely change a little bit.
I know we had Melissa, I think her name was. She dropped off her bow right before we left, and we got her restrung, and she asked for us to check out the new True Ball Execution release. So True Ball Excel was they were in the side that we were on today, and I went over and I played with the execution a little bit, and that is one sweet release.
Yep.
If y'all shot to execute, to me it was a little heavy, but the execution it's a hook release.
Yeah, it's a hook.
Instead of a dual jaw, it still has, I guess you call it the sear lock on it. You know, just like I have a true ball, I have a goat, and I got it set up on thumb button, so to lock the hook where it will, you know, where it'll hold the loop when you draw back, you click the little button, it's got that on there. The new thing that I seen on it is it has 3 different trigger, not adjustments, but configurations, I guess you can say. Has the standard little hook. You could actually take it and actually turn it around and be backwards. That was pretty neat, but it was kind of weird at the same time.
Yeah.
But as far as, you know, smoothness on the trigger, it was a jam up release. I'm really impressed with that.
I want to go back and test that new. I briefly went by there, and then I got to talking, and then forgot to look. What's the handheld?
The go-to. I didn't get to see it either.
I seen it last night, but I didn't get to like test it or anything. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. A lot of stuff we didn't get to see. We hadn't shot any bows yet. We've planned it out to where we're gonna do that first thing in the morning. For about the first 4 hours of the show tomorrow, we're going to go to all the shooting lanes and shoot all the bows. So tomorrow we'll have another podcast out that will come out Saturday morning, I guess. Yeah. And that'll be us mostly talking about shooting all the bows and that type of thing. So that'll be good. I know we were supposed to look at the Viper sights, and we did, and I thought they were very well built. Mm-hmm. Couple cool things they got this year.
That new sight light, I was really, really impressed with.
They got a sight light that's going to retail for $25, and instead of taking the traditional watch batteries that always go dead, you plug a micro USB phone charger into it, and it charges it.
But I think it's like 1 hour, and it's fully charged.
Yeah.
And it's got 3 different settings, like a low, medium, and a high, which the medium and the high was really bright. And I think they said you would get like 4 to 6 hours off of a charge, I think. And I believe, don't hold me to it, but I remember the guy saying something about, you know, you always, you know, you turn it on and forget about it. But did it have an auto shut off feature on it?
I wasn't paying attention. I was just looking at the plug-in thing. But that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Their sights overall were well built, bright. The single pin models, I mean, I didn't think they were too bulky. They also had the new tournament bar out.
Yep.
To me, it did look a little bulky, but that's for tournament folks.
But
I would shoot one of their regular sights in a heartbeat.
But their tournament sight, it wasn't heavy though.
Yeah.
It looked a little bulky, but it wasn't heavy. So,
I'm trying to think of things that stood out to me today. We've seen so much stuff. I feel like I'm brain dead.
Yeah.
But the knock-on thing kind of happened first, and everybody grouped over there, and then Pigman was over there doing his thing at the monster stuff. Just a side note, I have shot personally with Alpen binoculars for a while, and the company had went out of business about a year and a half ago, got bought up by another company, and before they went out of business, they had a lifetime warranty and all that, and they're super reasonable price binoculars. Well, anyway, my binocular strap clip thing on the holder, whatever, on the binocular broke off. So I went by there today and I just mentioned it to them. I said, hey, this thing broke. I don't know if it's covered because I bought it, a couple 4 years ago, whatever. And they said, absolutely. Call us. We'll fix it. And I was like, really? So I thought that was cool.
I think Bresser is the company that bought them out.
Gotcha.
Actually, the way I understood the guy is that Alpen was part of Bresser to begin with, and then it went out. I can't remember the guy who was selling them before.
Yeah.
When he retired, they bought back the Alpen name and everything. So
a lot of crossbow stuff. Raven come out with an R29X 450 feet per second bow. 10 Point came out with one that I can't remember the name of, but it's a 470. but it also retails at $3,000. A lot of companies have went to a Raven style design. They may not be quite as small, but they're close, and they range anywhere from $500 up to $3,000. So
PSC come out with the Warhammer today.
yeah, I didn't really. I walked past it, but somebody was handling it, so I didn't stop.
From what I could see, it was, small and compact. It kind of puts you in the mind of a R26.
Gotcha.
I think it was a little bit bigger than an R26, but that's what it puts you in the mind of.
Last Chance Archery came out with their big thing was an arrow saw that you can hook a vacuum up to, and also it can drip water so that the dust don't fly up. Super nice made saw. If I was buying a new one and needed one, I'd go with it. They came out with like 6 items, but some of them were just like some scales and some bowstring serving devices and that type of thing.
They come out with another hand scale.
Yeah.
And then they had one they had a tool. It was a multi-tool, kind of like your Gerbers or your Leathermans, but they called it the Pocket Shop. And I really didn't get to play with it, but it looked like it had...
I think it was just a glorified Leatherman kind of, but it had sort of archery related stuff on it. So
yeah.
But they're always doing good, and they're local to kind of where we are. They're about an hour down the road. I'm trying to think of what else big. Like I said, there's so much stuff to take in. You just
Elite come out with a new bow.
Yeah.
I can't remember the specs off the top of my head on it, but it was a 60-pound max bow, but it was super adjustable, and it was. I remember 29 being the longest draw length and 60 pound being maxed out, but I want to say it was 10 to 60 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe 16 to 29 on the draw length. I think. Don't hold me to it.
Yeah. They this year they did a buyers only day. So today was supposed to be only people there, like from a shop to buy stuff. And maybe that's why, but it definitely seemed like the attendance was off.
Yeah.
But it could be because those media people ain't walking around, or whoever's not there. So I don't know. We'll see tomorrow how it goes. But
I know I had stopped at the booth. We don't carry any kind of clothing in the shop. It's, a lot of these companies, when we stop and look at stuff, hey, and as far as like the clothing side of it, we just can't compete with Walmart. As far as most average hunters going to go to Walmart and spend $20 on a pair of pants, they're not going to pay. Average Joe's not going to pay $500-$600 or how. I don't even know how much clothing is now, but I do know that I stopped at one. If you're a lady, you can go and check their website out. It's DSG Outerwear. It's geared towards women, and my wife Vanessa loves their stuff. So they were supposed to have a special guest in the booth signing autographs today, and I had heard that a plane got delayed and they wouldn't be in until tomorrow. So I wonder if people are flying in and stuff got delayed with some bad weather. I don't know, but
I know even Levi and Samantha were supposed to be in the Last Chance booth, and they wasn't because they hadn't got here yet. But I don't know. I don't get into all. It looks good on the shop wall to have a couple pictures and autographs and stuff, but other than that, I could care less. But we did not win the Sasquatch target.
Well, they didn't even have the Sasquatch. They had Bigfoot there, but
they wasn't giving him away.
They had a new target. It was if I remember right, it was a wolf. What they call it, a snapping wolf. It's a combo target of a wolf grabbing the hind leg of a deer.
Yeah.
Cool looking target. And last year they come out with the mini elk. It was a third scale of the original elk.
Mm-hmm.
This year they came out with a third scale of a caribou, and that target looked sharp. I was really impressed with it. And
the old mini boo.
Yeah,
those will do well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. Like I said, we only covered about roughly half of it. Didn't talk to a whole lot of broadhead people today, but I think most of them are probably on the other side. I I did get to handle the Black Eagle New Revolution arrow. It's tiny, it's cool, but it's $300 a dozen. I got to handle the new stabilizers and stuff that they came out with. I mean, they look good. So I got to do the new quiver, and I am extremely impressed with it. The way that thing clamps on, it's got like a double spring-loaded thing, and you just squeeze it together, and the quiver pops off. So I'm sure we'll get some of those. They had it on a mount or on a riser, and they were like with arrows in it. They were like, sling this as hard as you can, and you will not hear a rattle. And I was slung the shit out of it, and nothing. But
Excel debuted their stabilizer bars.
Yeah, they look good.
They look real good.
Even Last Chance has got some disconnects, and you can adjust them the degrees up and down and left and right. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Montech showed, we'd already kind of seen it, but the solid blade Montech M3.
Mm-hmm.
I got to peek at it. The Mega Meat 2-inch 3-blade, I seen it. All this type of stuff. The new Striker X, all these new broadheads. I did see those couple.
And we stopped by a booth early this morning. I think they're mainly known for their knives, but last year they came out with a crossbow. It's cold steel. Mm-hmm. Crossbow's pretty neat. It's you cock it kind of like you would a BB gun in a way. But they come out with some, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not an actual metal broadhead. It's geared more towards small game.
It's actually plastic, but it's sharp. I mean, it is super sharp.
Yeah.
And they had a video. They said, just to test this thing, we did shoot some big game with it, and they had it on video.
And they went Africa.
Yeah, I mean, that's some no-joke stuff. But they were like, gear it towards small game. And I was like, and it was cheap. I don't remember exact cost, but I just remember they were cheap. So.
And I mean, you got to... I guess that's going to take place of the small game points, I guess you can say, because it's technically a broadhead.
Yep.
We'll try to get some pictures of this stuff up. And
yeah, I took a little bit of video today, and I probably will the next 2 days. And then I doubt it'll be up Sunday because we'll be driving pretty late into the night Saturday to get back. But maybe next Sunday or something like that, I'll just kind of dump it all together and then put a thing on YouTube. So at least there's a little bit of stuff out there. Or I don't know. I mean, you never know. I can't talk. Might have time to do it and get it up Sunday, but it'll be iffy.
Did you get? I know. I didn't get a chance, but did you get a chance to stop by Grim Reaper to see if they had anything?
I walked past there, and they were packed. I just grabbed a book, and I hadn't even looked at it, so I figured that would be a tomorrow thing. And
I didn't see Rage in the room we was in.
No.
So I think they're on the other side.
I feel like a lot of the bigger stuff that I would think about, it was on the other side, but
I did get a chance to go and check out the B3 Ghost release. It's a back tension. I'm going to tell you what, I am super impressed with that release.
I hadn't seen it yet, but I heard.
It's powder coated, and it's an aluminum powder coated, but you would almost think it was a super duper high grade plastic.
Yeah.
But it's aluminum. And just the feel of it, you don't think it's powder coated because, sometimes with powder coating stuff, it's got a real texture to it. It has a tiny bit of texture to it, but they only have it in a 3-finger right now. And I kind of talked to them to see if they was doing a 4-finger. The guy said that they are still, I guess you can say, in research and development with that release. So there's a possibility there could be a 4-finger in it. But, man, I was super impressed with that 3-finger. I'm like, okay, I don't shoot back tension. I just don't. I can put on one of the firing lines. I can, all day long, I can pull it back. Never had a misfire. But it's just something about, if I go to put it on the bow, I start worrying about if I'm going to punch myself in the nose or the mouth. But I think, with that release, I may have to get one and actually just shoot it because it broke good.
Yeah, I'll have to test it out tomorrow and see about it.
And they had a new one come out. I think it's a little bit smaller version of the King release. Nemesis? No, it wasn't Nemesis.
I don't remember the name. I've only seen a picture of it. I didn't get by their booth today. They got a new sight out too, I think.
Yeah, a exact Hunter 4, I think it is. I didn't get a chance to look at the sight when I got to the booth. I think you had some prior arrangements with some of our reps. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go over here. We were in the same part, walked over there, and the booth was packed. And I talked to the guy, and he's like, we've got a bunch of these already made up. He said, and it was packed. That booth was packed, and so I didn't get a chance, but I will look at that site tomorrow.
Somebody had mentioned going by the Oneida booth. I didn't get by there, but I will tomorrow. I don't know if they've got anything new or not. We'll update that tomorrow. Like I say, tomorrow we should have a lot more information on shooting the bows and that type of thing. I hadn't been, but like I say, everything that comes to mind, I hadn't seen it yet. And I hadn't looked at Garmin. The Burris I hadn't looked at this year. I don't know if anything's changed or not. I did, like I say, I've seen the Raven stuff. Couple bows just in the booth, but not on the shooting lane. We ordered some more big shot targets. They were a big hit last year.
Yep.
Got some 3D targets and some broadhead targets and some what they call the Iron Man target, which is those ones that are super easy to pull out. We got Black Eagle coming. We got Spot Hog coming. Black Widow scents. All kind of, I can't even think of what all we did. But anyway, so we feel like our butts have been whooped. I should have turned on like a walking thing because there's no telling how far we walked. And it's funny because a lot of dealers, they just show up and have a list of about 20 booths they want to go hit. But I mean, there's the ones we got to hit type thing. But I like to be able to walk and hit them all. Because you never know what little guy's going to have something out that's going to take off or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what all. I know there's one. I hadn't looked to see if they're there, but they were a big hit last year. It was mini 3D targets, but it was a dart game.
I remember seeing that. Not today, but last year.
I'm hoping they're there again. I want to see if they've got anything new. But that was really cool. It's just something, that I would love to have in my house. That way I could just sit there and throw darts at 3D animals. I mean,
It'd be something different.
Yeah, instead of actual darts, because I suck at darts.
We've got the easiest thing probably at this point to do is if you want us to look at something or question or whatever, just comment on this video when you see it because it'll come through to my phone. But, I mean, you can also text us at 843-560-9898 or you can email archeryshack@gmail.com. But if you'll just comment on this video, it'll come through and that'll work.
We stopped and seen our buddies at BCY.
Yep. Good folks.
Yep.
Trying to think. I hadn't been by the specialty archery booth yet, but I definitely want to go by there tomorrow. I think you went by there.
Yeah, I stopped and I checked out that new PXL Hunter sight or Hunter Peak that they come out with.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the same design as the Podium Peep, except it's a little bit bigger, and it still has the same features as the Podium Peep. You can get the front peep shade. You can get on the back end. You can get the size, the apertures to change the peep size.
Gotcha.
And this year on that peep is when you take if you're gonna change your. Let's say you got a 3/16 aperture in there as your peep size, but you wanted to go up to a quarter, then you would get that quarter aperture, and the clarifier or verifier lens that's in there, it actually now snaps into that aperture. So
Gotcha.
When you take it, if you would, like on the Podium Peep, when you unscrew it, that little clarifier can come out real easy. On this,
Mm-hmm.
there's no play in it. It actually snaps in. I really thought that the only thing I don't like about that is when you go to take it out and clean it, you kind of have to put your fingers back on it to get it to snap in.
Gotcha.
So that's the only thing that I seen that I was kind of concerned about, but as far as being built and well built, it was a jam up sight. I'm gonna run one in my hunting bow this year.
OMP made a micro adjustable vise that we have a couple of already. Not the micro adjustable one, but I'm going to have one of those just as a side note. It was pretty slick.
We stopped by the Allen booth. They were packed today.
They gave us a dang bow case.
Yeah, I was tickled pink over that, but I wanted to look at their new tool set. They come out, I think it's an ergonomical tool set or something. I had read, but
I forgot to look at that too.
But like you know, it seemed like a lot of the booths that we stopped at had a lot of traction. You know,
Oh yeah.
had a lot of people there, and you know, most of the reps and the people in the booths were busy writing orders, which, you know, the ATA set up the first day for that reason.
Oh yeah.
So tomorrow it might not be as packed at some of these booths, but excuse me.
You should start seeing some more videos and stuff out,
Yeah.
because that's when the media type people can. I know Bow Junkie was there today, but I think not like walking around. They were just at like the John Dudley thing and all that. So tomorrow should be a little more lively, I would imagine. But man, it is a lot of walking. I'm getting old and fat.
Yeah.
I need a jazzy chair.
Oh, we need to tell them about the massaging thing that we ended up getting.
I'm walking down through there. You had stopped at another booth, and this guy jumps out in the where I was walking and was like, "Hey," I think he said, "You ever go to a chiropractor? Have you ever used a TENS unit?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do this demo." So I sit down, and he had a smaller than a mobile phone device that plugs into these two pads. You know, he put them on my neck, and it's got like 10 different settings. It'll do all these different patterns, but it ultimately is one of those TENS units that sends a little electrical impulses and shocks, you know, and you can put it on your neck, your back, wherever. There's even a foot one. So I'm like, dude, this is nice. I'm sold, you know, and we got to wheeling and dealing. But anyway, me and TJ and Joyce, we all ended up getting one. And
They are pricey though. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
They pricey.
it was nice though, man.
I mean, when I say pricey, they retail at $450.
Yeah, they wheeled and dealed with us, but and I wouldn't even. We'd have to look to figure out how to even get a hold of them if somebody wanted one, and it's not even archery related. And I don't know why they were there, but they were stopping people, and as soon as they put them on their shoulders and stuff, they were like, "We'll take one." So
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I'm not much of an impulse buyer like that, but I bought one of them things.
Oh man, I was the only one that would turn the sun gun wide open.
It probably had about 15 up to like, let's say 12 or 15. About on 3, like my dang muscles, you know, were kind of
Convulsing.
We look over, TJ's got that thing on 100%, and he's like, I mean, he's like, I'm like, whoa, dude, you gonna be all right? And then Jackie walked up, and I was like, whoa, he is a pacemaker. They were like, yeah, it'll kill him. I was like, God almighty.
But I'm anxious to get that thing out,
We got a
charge it up.
atomic rod gamma scan ordered, and this is some kind of device you link with your phone through Bluetooth, and you put this sensor on the tip of the stabilizer. You make, say, a dozen shots. It analyzes the movement during those dozen shots. Then you make a change, and that change could be anything: poundage, the weights on the stabilizer, draw length, peak height, whatever. You make another dozen shots. You change it as many times as you want, and then it'll analyze and show you the movement in each group and say, this group you move the least on. That'll be something kind of neat, I think.
And
Not something for everybody and their brother to come play with, but if somebody's really wanting to get their stuff dialed in and play with weights and poundages and peak heights and releases and anything, that'll be neat.
2 other things I remember. I can't remember the name of the company, but they have heated clothing.
Yeah.
It's a little battery pack. They made a Carhartt style jacket. They had vests. They had like a midweight rain suit and everything. And what it is it's got heating cores. And when you put it on, it's actually Bluetooth controlled, and it's got like 3 or 4 different settings on it. And so if you're in a cold, I say colder climate like up north, Midwest, and they even had the gloves. They made a glove liner, so you could buy those and then use your regular hunting gloves, Bluetooth controlled. I was pretty impressed with that, and
we ended up getting a vest or whatever.
Yeah,
I want to test it out because they were pushing it hard, and I noticed some other clothing companies have got something similar, so that must be the new.
They made socks, gloves, bib. Well, I don't know about bibs, but they had some pants.
Yeah,
they even had the base layers, which I thought was pretty neat. And then I stopped by the Bowfinger booth. They actually come out with, I ain't gonna say they came out with, but now they've got it's a back bar mount and it has a level on it. So you could actually, when you're setting your back bar mount up, you can actually keep it level. And then they also came out, it was a little plate. I know everybody's had this happen before, but your back bar mount bolt loosened up just a little bit. Well, they make a plate now, instead of it sit back there rattling and everything, it actually bolts up to it and it sits against the riser of your bow. So it can't swing back and damage your bow.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nifty.
Yeah, that's neat. That's pretty neat. I know, to me, a lot of traction on crossbows. There's a lot of crossbows here. I was talking to a couple dealers, just random people I don't know, that we ended up side by side at something, and a lot of crossbow talk. And it's a mixture. I had one guy tell me they were selling a lot of Ravens for, pretty much. And then I had another guy tell me all they could sell was the $300-$400 crossbows. And I had one guy tell me if it was a new guy, he was selling them $300-$400 crossbows, but then a year or two later, a lot of people were coming to upgrade to the $1,000+ ones. So I'm hearing more and more and more about these crossbows. I'm also hearing a lot about traditional stuff, and I looked at some of the Galaxy recurves today. Probably will order a few, and they've got anything from a cheaper, $120 deal up to whatever you want to spend. But for a package, it could be put together for about $200 with a recurve and a shooting glove and the arrows and the whole 9 yards. I think that would be neat. And I know a lot of people call us and ask about it.
Yep.
And we occasionally have one, but I think maybe button down on that a little more. But like I say, this is sort of, I feel like boring. I'm sure it is. But tomorrow we're shooting the bows. We'll come back tomorrow with a ton of information about each and every bow. So stay tuned for tomorrow's podcast. It'll come out. That'll be Saturday morning. We'll see if I can get a video from ATA together by Sunday. It'll be iffy. And then we'll be back to our regular podcast. We'll have one out Wednesday, and then we'll be back at the shop and all that good stuff. So
I will say this, though. We was talking about Pigman earlier. I've been coming to the shows now for this be the third or fourth year. And I won't never forget the first time I met Pigman. And from that first year I met him till now, he's still the same person. He's just down to earth. So if you do have a hunting show or something that's local, and if he does make a meet and greet appearance, go and meet him and talk to him, because he is just down to earth as he could be. Most of these people are just down to earth. You can stop them unless they're absolutely on a mission or whatnot.
Yeah.
You can stop and talk to them just like we do these podcasts. And it's.
Yeah, he's a nice dude, no joke.
I mean, a lot of these guys are, you would think, they're a celebrity.
Yeah.
But T-Bone's the same way.
Yeah.
All the Bone Collector boys are the same way. Just, they'll sit there and just talk to you like they've known you forever. So, it's neat. And
oh, yeah. Agreed.
Once a year we get to rub elbows with the big boys.
We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Talk about some bows. Probably the majority of tomorrow will be about bows, so that'll be good. And we're gonna shoot them all. So,
and hopefully we can. I guess we just need to write down what we look at and everything.
Maybe, like I say, that it just goes blank after seeing it for 10 hours. But
yeah,
we thank y'all for listening, and tune in tomorrow. We'll talk about some compound bows for day 2
and crossbows.
See y'all tomorrow.
See ya.